Gonna take you riding danger zone. Guys, we got Top Gun Maverick. Is this movie worth going in IMAX? Honestly, yes. This movie is filmed for IMAX. Even I'll show you a poster right now. IMAX cameras were literally attached to the planes where they were doing some of the shots. High-speed octane action, the great cinematic cinematography, as well as the sounds, the movement of the aircraft. When I say movement of the aircraft, I mean like whoosh, whoosh, like when you see in the trailers, but it's like blown out, especially with the sounds and the music and the cinematic scores. Like whoosh, he's going to the left, he's going to the right, he's like, oh no, back left, I got you, fire, fire. This movie is great to see it in IMAX. And honestly, guys, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I never even saw the first Top Gun movie that was played in the 19s. I never saw it, and I never had an interest of seeing it until like the second one came out because I saw the first one, so I can give you a better comprehensive, better review. So we can talk about the second review, of course, when we do it for this channel. But I did love the first one. I saw it last night, and I went to go see this a few hours ago, and I loved it. I don't know why it took me so long, but I'm so glad they made a second one, and I'm so glad that Tom Cruise literally told Paramount or had some negotiation saying like, no, please delay this movie. This movie deserves like a big audience. Like, yes, like after Spider-Man No Way From Home, he was made literally the right decision, especially for Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for you soldiers. Yes, this movie, it's definitely better to go see it in IMAX, Dolby, D-Box, 3D, 4DX, AMC theaters. Why don't you have a 4DX? Like, why? We need it. I would love one. Or AMC Prime here in Northwest of Chicago's. And we got Top Gun Maverick. After an incident, Maverick, played by Tom Cruise, is ordered to come back to Top Gun, which is like the premises from the first movie, like teaching of the next generation top tier elite fighters on a dangerous mission. Now, the movie knows that the first one happened, and it still continues on the story. However, the movie knows, as well as us, that time has passed. So in the movie, of course, he only got ranked to captain, which is, I think, 3 more from lieutenant from the first movie, which, I mean, if he keeps going like admiral or senator, I don't think he could fly planes, so I don't think Tom Cruise, like, his character wants that. I don't know, that's just me, like, because in the beginning, he's like, oh, you should be in a higher rank, and then Tom Cruise is like, no, I like flying planes, like, yeah. But this still feels, sounds, and looks, especially from the first one, continuing on the emotional connection he had with Goose, which, spoilers for the first movie, not for this one, spoilers for the first movie, Goose died for the first one, so throughout this whole movie, it's still about Goose. Like, Goose is still prevalent in the main story, even though he's not alive. Rather than having a larger-than-life persona, just like the first movie, even though he still has it, let's be honest, but it's just toned down a little bit, or maybe it's shifted. He has to be a teacher for these new students. Something happens in the beginning, and then they're like, you know what? This isn't working out. We need you to teach these people, and this will be your last post. Like, if you don't teach them, then you're done. He does something reckless in the beginning, which, of course, he's not, I'm saying, larger than life. He still has it. But it's towards the movie, because even throughout the movie, he still doesn't know how to teach him. He doesn't know how to teach himself to get over the fact of what happened with Goose, how to let it go, how to confront Miles Teller's character, Rooster, which is the son of Goose. So he's still in the constant battle with them. He resents him. It's this all ongoing process throughout the rest of the movie. The music and the cinematic score is still accompanied from the first movie, including into this. So when the movie opens up, you hear those chimes, those ching-a-ling. Of course, the soundtrack's back is that Danger Zone, gonna take you right, Danger Zone. Okay, cool. Now we're in the second half. The second part of the movie literally is like a training sequence, and now I never really liked training sequence. Like when Iron Man was getting his suit, like I thought that was cool, but I never really loved it. Like, I don't know, even though those are superhero films, like, you know, I don't know, I don't really like training sequence like that. I don't know, like, but this is different though, because seeing in IMAX with the sound, the training sequence, you see everyone's cockpits, you see the different angles of the cinematic cameras that were filmed when the IMAX cameras were literally attached to the planes itself. So it gives us a distinct feeling and sounds when they're maneuvering, when they're changing lanes, where you're bantering with each other, like, oh, I got your lane, like, he's over there, he's top left, top right, like, there's just so much going on, like, high-speed octane action. Like, it's literally different because we're always on the ground, but seeing it, it just feels, like, different. Like, one time I was getting woozy, I was like, whoa. That's why the training scene, I loved it, because you learn more about these cast of characters, the next generation, if you will, especially Maverick. Like, all these years, like, he still has new tricks up his sleeve, and tricks to show us, the audience, which I'm not gonna, like, talk about, but it's awesome because the training scene also shows Rooster, played by Miles Teller, and it's this constant battle between him and Maverick saying, you did this to my father, I don't like you, like, I resent you, like, why did you do that, like, you know, you have this big ego, like, you killed him, and it's constant struggle because Maverick still feels like he was still responsible, even though we know from the first movie it was a plane aircraft, like, malfunction. So literally, and like, I don't think that it was his fault to do it. I think literally, I saw the movie, the first one, it was the aircraft that like spun out of control, like failed. However, I do want to say I love the next generation of fighter pilots because at least we get a more diverse cast of characters. We have one that I just want to say, Phoenix, played by Monica Barbaro. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that name right, even though I'm half Latino. She is female, so it's like nice because the first movie was all dudes, and you know, all dudes and all guys, and I guess times are different back then, but I'm glad they're different now because, oh, one beautiful female, like, great, that's awesome. But we also see some African Americans and some Latinos. Fanboy played by Danny Ramirez, which is great because I'm like, yes, like now we get more diverse cast of Next Generation, which is great because that's what you see now, not back then. So I'm glad that the movie did that for new times. Also, I did want to name out one person. I do love Payback. I love the name Payback, and even like the character who played him, Jay Ellis, because he was from Escape Room. So when I saw him, I was like, no way, that's the guy from Escape Room. So I love the new diverse characters of the Next Generation. And the Next Generation, is they're like the first one. They're banter with each other. They're trying to say, you're better than me, you're not better than me, like you suck, like, you know, jokes aside, like everything, this and that, left and right, like, you know, top tier, but they still have like that macho bravery from the first movie, from those cast of characters into this Next Generation, but it's more relatable to home because they're more diverse than the first one. I was seeing this in IMAX and I was just really amazed about the sound. It was like, I was literally at the edge of my seat when they're trying to do the training missions, like when Tom Cruise proves them wrong, which I'm not gonna spill anything about. Even the final mission itself is like, what's going on next? Because it keeps you on the toes, but I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, the movie sprinkles in the love romance partner played by Jennifer Connelly, which I loved it because you know me, I love romance. I used to be a relationship therapist, going to be in school, so I love everything romance. I just loved how they sprinkled her in, like her scenes, like action, and then yeah, it kind of slows down. I mean, a lot of people are gonna be like, yeah, but to me, that was a nice pace to the movie because it's like, oh my gosh, endorphins, and then a little pace, a little bit breaks with Jennifer Connelly's character, which I really like because she's in there, and then she's in there. Especially gives us a reason for Tom Cruise to kind of keep going. I mean, I'm not saying he needs a woman, but it's also nice because it gives him a little bit of dynamics between his cast characters, especially himself, because it's like from the first movie, I don't even know where the other girl has been. I mean, yeah, years have passed, and we know from the first movie she got that job at Washington D.C. So I don't know why they didn't bring her back. I mean, but it would be kind of weird. She didn't even call and be like, hey man, like I didn't see you with another girl. But Jennifer Connelly's character, I like her because they never worked together. Tom Cruise and her, they said it in an interview on Today, they never worked together and their chemistry is really believable. It's just maybe they're great acting skills. I mean, you gotta think about it. Tom Cruise and Jennifer Connelly have been in this business for a long time, so they probably know how to work. These two actors are like top tier. Putting them together is amazing because they never worked together, and I do believe the romance feels like a long relationship on and off. You can kind of tell they had history, so it's like a on and off again relationship, so I really love that. And plus she has a daughter now, and she says one thing in the movie, she's like, if you go after her or something, don't break her heart again. So that implies to me that relationship, and she was also mentioned in the beginning in the first movie, like she was talked about, but we didn't see her, but now we do. So I love that on and off relationship that they do have. And one thing too, the cast also talked about training this in IMAX, because literally when they put the IMAX cameras in the plane, they had to train underwater, they had to train with IMAX cameras just in case, like safety precautions, because if literally jumped out, they would have to be in sea. So I loved all the training gear that all of these have to do. Even Miles Teller said that oh, he has to go to the gym, but doing it consistently month after month is a little bit difficult. It's also Maverick confronting like his past, present, because of the son, like what's he gonna do, how's he gonna react, and it never like delays the movie further. If anything, it further enhances it because it adds more emotional depth when they go on these missions. High octane action is great, but having the relationship between them because of the past history between them, like from the past, I thought it was great. So this is 2022 and we already had a Marvel movie and Batman, and I'm gonna be very honest with you guys, seeing this in IMAX, I give this an A+. Like I overall love this film. I'm gonna go see it again tonight after I finish this review. There was nothing I really disliked about it. I mean, maybe if I go see it the second time, I'll add it, but right now I loved everything about it. The high octane action, the speed, the relationships continue on from the first movie. I know for some people it probably took years, but I love this movie. Like I give it an A+ for me. Like just a shot alone, knowing how the movie was made. Like they literally placed IMAX cameras on a plane. Like I want you guys to think about that. Like they didn't just like CGI this shit. Like no, they literally took IMAX cameras and put it on a plane to make that turbulence, you know, to make that sounds. I'm happy for Tom Cruise to do this. Like I can't wait for his Mission Impossible. A+ for me, guys. Definitely a runner-up for the best movies of this year so far. Alright guys, that's gonna be everything for me today. I hope you have a great night, and let me know if you ever need anything. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing so you stay up to date with the movie reviews information. Take care, guys.